Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be going over all of the rebalancing and kind of updates that came to the game today besides the dwarf faction, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so if we pull up this this post here, under news, huge update, we can see here a new faction. I've already done a video on all of these dwarves and kind of grading them and going over them, and then that we have these feature changes here. So we've got new tournaments. This is basically just saying there's going to be tournaments for other dungeons. Like we currently have the Ice Golem tournament where we farm the golem over and over and over, and then you have a kind of a competition leaderboard and guaranteed rewards. This is just basically saying they're going to be continuing that style of tournament with the other dungeons like the Spider, Fire Knight, and Dragon. And then we have a new clan boss, Ultra Nightmare difficulty. I think this should have just been called Ultra or something, Ultra Nightmare, but yeah. So I guess it's going to be another difficulty for like the super endgame clans that are killing Nightmare pretty easily every day. This will be a cool change for, to give them another goal to strive towards. Any affinity dungeon can now be opened for 24 hours with gems. This is a great change and very needed in my opinion. Open time will be extended if the dungeon opens according to its normal schedule during this time. The only thing I don't like about this, this is a great idea by Polarium, but we can see it's 200 gems. I think that's very steep. I would have liked this to be 50 or 100. 200 is pretty steep. You're really going to have to farm it to make that worth the 200 gems. I would much rather have the 5 energy refills as opposed to opening up a keep, a day or two early. So I'm very shocked that it's that expensive. I would have liked to see this be 50. So yeah, kind of disappointed in that, but it was a cool idea to at least add that to the game. Alright, so we were there, and then the drop rate for epic and legendary champions from void shards has been increased. Now the rates are exactly the same as ancient shards. This is a massive change, and this is very needed in my opinion because it really kind of stunted the value of void shards in my opinion, which is why I've always kind of valued void shards less than the community does and less than Polarium does. I've always kind of been down on the value of void shards. This brings them back into line, and I can kind of readjust how I calculate the value of void shards on my offer sheets. So I'm glad they did this, and this is a very good change. Now we get into the exciting things, the rebalancing of champions. So I'll kind of, I'll glide over the simple ones, and I'll really dive into the big deal ones. Alton, we've got Searing Blow, increased chance of placing decreased attack from 25 to 60. A needed change for Alton, definitely isn't going to break him or change him in any massively significant way, but this is a good change. And this is one of the biggest changes of the patch. Astrolith has been a garbage tier legendary. I actually have her rated dead last in my most recent tier list. So let's actually just go ahead and pull her up and let's just review her from scratch because they changed so much about Astrolith and the Dark Elves. This is Astrolith here. Okay, attack one enemy, fill the turn meter of a random ally by 15%. Fill the turn meter of all allies by a further 15% if critical. Wow, that's an awesome A1. So you get turn meter manipulation on your A1. So yeah, very good ability there. Attack one enemy, place 2 bomb debuffs that detonate after 1 turn. This is actually a change that I suggested for her. So I'm glad to see they did this. Bombs taking 2 turns. Bringing it down to 1 will make it a lot more useful and give her more utility. Exchange remaining HP levels with a target enemy, then attack the enemy with the default skill. Cannot be used on a boss. Passive effect gains an extra turn and decreases the cooldown of the skill by 3 turns if this champion's HP drops below 20% when attacked. Interesting. Okay, so they wanted to keep that ability as kind of, the defining staple of her kit, but they made it a lot more kind of generally useful. Okay. And then increases ally speed in the arena by 28%. Okay, wow. So that's a really good aura. Speed is king in the arena, and they gave her a really good aura for the arena. And she has a good base speed of 102, based on attack with good crit damage. An awesome A1. Some bomb. Place 2. Okay. Interesting. So Astrolith is going to be definitely a lot better. I'm really going to have to kind of look more into it. But my first initial impressions are she will definitely slide up the board and out of the terrible, legendary rank. It's hard to say exactly where I'll place her. Probably somewhere in the, good to excellent kind of break line. But yeah, she's definitely a lot better than she was. Baron, damage increase per buff has been decreased. So it looks like a nerf to Baron. I don't have Baron, but he must have been hitting just a little bit too hard with that ability. So not a massive change, but definitely a little bit of a nerf there to Baron. Dracomorph was another massive change. So let's just go ahead and review Dracomorph from scratch, kind of similar to Astrolith, because he really changed a lot. His A1 is going to be a 1 enemy hitter. Damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. Okay. Will attack 1 random enemy with any surplus damage if the target is killed. Damage inflicted is equal to triple the surplus damage. So a very interesting A1. That's kind of cool. Attack 4 times at random on a 3-turn cooldown. Each hit places a 5%. It just places. It's just a 100% chance to place. So as long as you have good accuracy, wow. So that's an extremely good ability for late game dungeons and for the clan boss. And then Baleful Eye, place a 25% weaken and a 60% decreased defense for 2 turns. Wow. And you can get that on a 3-turn cooldown. That ability is incredible for late game dungeons and the clan boss. So wow. Dracomorph might be the biggest mover on my tier list. He definitely slides up the board into the excellent tier, possibly even the god tier. I'd have to kind of take a look at the list a little bit more in depth, but yeah, he's gonna be an excellent legendary. He has magic affinity, which isn't great. Magic is a pretty saturated affinity. I would love to see him be Spirit of Force, but Baleful Eye is an incredible ability, and Poison Jaws is gonna be amazing as well. So definitely a Dracomorph has slid up the board to being an excellent legendary. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Excuse me. Reglan, getting also a ton of changes. Damage decreased multiplier, but now places 3 hits. Okay. And fills turn meter. Okay, so that's cool. Increased multiplier and decreased cooldown. Okay, yeah, Reglan always had ridiculously long cooldowns. It's kind of my first review was that, the cooldowns were just crazy for Reglan, so this is good. And then Miracle decreased from 7 to 3, so very needed changes for Reglan, and this should slide her up the board on the legendary tier list as well. Tomb Lord is another very interesting one that probably warrants going over, so let's just go ahead and review Tomb Lord and kind of rate him from scratch, kind of similar to the other ones. Tomb Lord is right here. Tomb Lord has always kind of been in that terrible tier of legendaries, so let's go ahead and just kind of review him from scratch. Attack 1 enemy 3 times. I love triple hitters on an A1. Place a decreased speed debuff on the target for 2 turns if critical. So, okay, very good A1 there, pretty solid. Attack 1 enemy. If the hit is critical, has a 70% chance of placing 4 poison debuffs on all enemies for 1 turn. Placing 4 5% poisons on all enemies. Wow. That's pretty good. That's going to be good for late game dungeons and the clan boss. Okay, that's a 3-turn cooldown. Yeah, that's pretty good. Resets the turn meter of all enemies with less than 50% HP. Has an 80% chance of placing a decrease attack on all enemies for 2 turns. Also an 80% chance. Wow. Wow. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be really good for dungeons. The turn meter stuff won't happen against the clan boss, but okay. Tomb Lord has a 99 base speed, and gets a base accuracy of 20. Also, okay, so this is only arena, but yeah, this isn't gonna work against the clan boss either. But his A2 and his A3 are gonna be very good against the clan boss, and he slots into that spirit affinity role. It's tough to get good spirit champions. Yeah, so Tomb Lord is definitely moving way up the board. I believe he was in my terrible tier. He's going to probably move up into the border of excellent and good, probably into the excellent tier. This is definitely some good changes for Tomb Lord. So if you have Tomb Lord, it's going to be much better now. Valkyrie decreased from 6 to 4 for Stand Firm. Valkyrie's already really good, so I'm kind of interested to see why this was changed. So Stand Firm was increased from 6 to 4. Okay. Wow. This ability's insane now. Jeez. Okay, so oof. I already had Valkyrie, I think, in the excellent tier or good, so she's going to be slotting up to probably one of the best legendaries in the game. Yeah, this Stand Firm ability is just bananas good now. And with her being Spirit, yeah, Valkyrie is incredible. Faceless needed some more help than just this. So not very noteworthy. Increased the multiplier of Ice Bolt, but nothing really super game-changing to go over there. Faceless needs a little bit more love than this, in my opinion. Jarang decreased Talons from 5 to 4 turns. Okay, that's... I'm okay with that. That was probably needed, but again, not super ridiculous. Seer, now a 50% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Increased inflicts less damage versus bosses. Okay, nothing really crazy to go over there. Terror Beast got a lot of changes. Now attacks twice at random. Places a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 3 turns. That's going to be really good against the Fire Knight. Places a stun. Let's go over Terror Beast really quick. We might as well. Right here. Spirit Affinity. Attack one enemy, 20% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the targets. Interesting. That's not bad. Attack 2 times at random. 30 on all allies for 3 turns. We can keep that up basically permanently. And it's a 2-hitter on a 3-turn cooldown. But his A1 is a 1-hitter. But... yeah, that's pretty good for the Fire Knight. We got a permanent reflect damage. Attack 1 enemy 2 times on a 4-turn cooldown. Fully heals the champion if the target's killed. That's kind of lame for an A3 and a 4-turn cooldown. But this A2 is really good for the Fire Knight. So definitely worth taking a look at there. And then ally HP in all battles. Okay. So Terror Beast is going to move up the board a little bit, for sure. So I like those changes. Definitely makes him viable in at least, one area of the game. Okay, Vergus has always been a really bad epic. So let's see what they did here. Changed effect and chance of pierce. Now 40% chance of placing a 30% reflect damage buff on ally on a random ally. I don't like that. Vergus needed more love than that. Skill 2, duration of existing buffs prolonged and new effects added. Now places a 15% continuous heal buff, 15% increased speed, and 30% reflect damage buff on a target for 3 turns. Okay, so let's go over Vergus and see. Let's kind of rate him from scratch now. 1 enemy, 40% chance of placing. Ooh, okay. Again, not bad for the Fire Knight. Reflect damage is kind of underwhelming in the other spots of the game, but okay. It's kind of an interesting A1. I like that. A2, 3-turn cooldown. Continuous heal. Increased speed. Reflect damage on a target ally for 3 turns. Interesting. Also, ally protection on that same ally for 3 turns. Okay, so not bad. I still question it's 1 ally. I just don't see this being game-changing enough. Place a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion. Yeah, Again, yeah, he's gonna slide up a little bit, but Vergus needed a little bit more love than this, in my opinion. That's just kind of my first reaction. Okay, and next, Steel Bowyer. This is another big one. We've kind of been waiting for when the ball was gonna drop on Steel Bowyer. They announced like 3.5 weeks ago that they were going to be nerfing Steel Bowyer, and it's finally coming through. So, you know, I feel for those of you that invested in Steel Bowyer, because she is actually really bad now. Definitely not worth 6-starring, not worth investing in. You know, with Painkeeper being a god tier rare, they nerfed her, but they didn't just destroy her. Like, Painkeeper is still pretty good for a rare. Steel Bowyer is now actually just bad. She's a rare, so I get it. I get having to fix her and have her not be just so godly. But, yeah. They really nerfed her into the ground. So, let me know what you think about that if you invested in her. I wish they would have given at least, like, half skill tomes back or something. You know, but, hey, sorry for those of you that invested in her. Steel Bowyer is not worth 6-starring or skill booking anymore. So now let's get into the game experience enhancements. UI fixes to all events. The way event points are displayed in the artifact enhancement event has also been adjusted. Updated artifact drop rate in the following dungeons. Okay, it doesn't really say what the change was, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Multi-battle changes. Your team's leader will now remain in the team even if they reach max level. Also updated the UI. Okay, cool. Added the option to destroy artifacts. You can now destroy already equipped artifacts for free. Okay, it's a needed change, but you know, nothing super game changing. Changes to the referral program. The red dot indicator will basically be less annoying. Okay, now this is massive. Shaman, Jizo, Haikatoon, Yaga, and Dark Aethel can no longer be summoned from Sacred Shards. Thank you, Plarium. I never thought in a million years that we would get this. This is great. Wow. I can't tell you how big of a deal this is, because this is so demotivating for players when, you know, you work so hard for a month, you get a Sacred Shard, and boom, you pull Shaman. And it's just all of the air goes out of your balloon. So this is great. Because, you know, if you don't know, if you're a newer player, these are the champions that you're guaranteed to get from, you know, being a new player with your login rewards and stuff like that. You're guaranteed to get all of these champions. So now you're not going to also get them from your most valuable shards. So that's really cool. Good job on that, Plarium. And then it basically just says, yeah, you know, we hope you like this update. And if you do or don't, jump over to the forums and tell us about it. It's kind of funny. Okay, so yeah, just to kind of wrap up, Ashlith is definitely really good now. Same with Dracomorph. Vergus didn't quite get enough love, in my opinion, and the Sacred Shard change is really cool. Yeah, that's kind of the things that kind of jump off to me. I suppose I should scroll through it. That's kind of the things that really jumped off the board to me. The new clan boss is really cool. Ashlith got crazy buffs. Dracomorph is awesome now. Raglan, you know, these cooldowns were ludicrous, so that Raglan is finally the champion that they should have been all along. Oh yeah, Tomb Lord is now really good. Faceless, Durang are kind of, you know, whatever. Same with Seer. Terror Beast could be interesting against the Fire Knight. Vergus needs a little bit more love still, in my opinion. Steel Bowyer is now really bad. Don't bother investing. And yeah, the Sacred Shard change is absolutely incredible. So that kind of wraps it up. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments of, you know, the good changes, the bad changes, and all of that. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.